You might not believe me when I tell you this, but right now, tucked away inside your kitchen pantry, sits a completely natural miracle worker that can revolutionize the health of your soil, supercharge your harvest, and banish stubborn pests without costing you a single extra dime. Every year, millions of everyday households and dedicated growers spend small fortunes on fancy, brightly colored chemical fertilizers and synthetic sprays, completely unaware that these commercial products often strip the soil of its natural vitality, leaving plants dependent on the next chemical fix. The real secret to thriving, deep green foliage and abundant, heavy yields isn't manufactured in a distant industrial laboratory. It is found in the everyday items we usually toss into the trash bin or ignore at the back of our cupboards. When you unlock the power of these simple, household-based remedies, you don't just save an incredible amount of money, but you also breathe genuine, vibrant life back into your earth, creating a safe, chemical-free sanctuary that feeds your family and respects the land. Before we dive deep into these incredible kitchen secrets, I want to personally invite you to become a permanent part of our growing family by subscribing to the channel right now, ensuring you never miss a single piece of practical, down-to-earth wisdom. While you are doing that, please take a quick moment to drop your location down in the comments section below. Whether you are writing to us from a specific city, a quiet rural village, a bustling farming district, or a beautiful country halfway across the world, we have an absolutely incredible community of warm-hearted gardeners and hard-working farmers from every corner of the globe who watch these videos. And seeing exactly where you are growing your roots helps me understand just how far our shared love for the earth truly reaches. Think of it as our global community roll call, so don't be shy. Let us know where you are tuning in from today so we can all welcome you properly. Now, let us start with a remedy that addresses a mistake almost every household makes, which involves tossing out something that your plants absolutely crave. Most people throw away their used coffee grounds every single morning without realizing what it can do for their soil, treating it like useless waste when it is actually pure gold for your garden. If you walk into your kitchen, you will find these rich, dark grounds sitting right inside your coffee maker or espresso machine, and if you don't drink coffee, your local neighborhood cafe will practically beg you to take their leftover bags for free. The brilliant science behind coffee grounds lies in their rich nitrogen content, which is the foundational building block for that deep, green, lush foliage we all want to see, while their naturally fibrous texture improves soil aeration and feeds beneficial earthworms. To prepare this for a standard home setup, you want to collect your used grounds and spread them thin on an old newspaper for a day to let them dry completely, preventing any unwanted mold from forming. If you are a home gardener tending to small kitchen beds or delicate balcony pots, you can gently scratch 2 or 3 tablespoons of these dried grounds directly into the top inch of soil around your heavy feeders like tomatoes, roses, and blueberries. For my small to medium-scale farmers out there looking to scale this up, you can mix these grounds directly into your large compost piles at a ratio of about 20% of your total compost volume, allowing the microbial activity to break it down uniformly across a larger area. The best time to apply this is early in the morning, right before a gentle watering, so the nutrients can begin to soak deeply into the dry earth, and you only need to repeat this process once every 4 to 6 weeks to give your plants a steady, slow-release boost of vitality. But here is where it gets really interesting, because the perfect companion to your morning coffee remedy is actually waiting inside your morning breakfast routine, right in the egg carton. Your grandmother probably knew this one, but somehow it got forgotten along the way, leading people to buy expensive calcium supplements when the ultimate source is right there in the trash. Eggshells are entirely made of calcium carbonate, a crucial mineral that strengthens plant cell walls, prevents the dreaded blossom end rot in tomatoes, and structurally fortifies everything from peppers to fruit trees. To turn these kitchen scraps into a powerful plant medicine, simply rinse your empty eggshells with water to remove any leftover membrane, let them air dry until they feel brittle, and then crush them into a fine, powdery dust using a standard kitchen blender or a simple rolling pin. Home gardeners can sprinkle a generous handful of this fine white powder directly into the planting hole when transplanting new seedlings, ensuring the young roots have immediate access to structural support. Farmers working on a larger scale can accumulate these shells in bulk, crush them, and incorporate them into their row transitions or field beds at a rate of roughly 1 pound per 100 square feet of soil. You want to apply this structural boost right at the beginning of the planting season so it has time to break down, or during the early flowering stage when plants demand the most structural strength, and a single, thorough application per growing season is usually all it takes to protect your crop from calcium deficiency. You might be wondering what to do when unexpected pests show up to ruin all your hard work, but the answer isn't a harsh chemical spray. It is actually sitting right next to your kitchen sink in the form of ordinary liquid dish soap. This is a classic household item that every single home possesses, and it works wonderfully because the fatty acids inside plain, non-degreasing liquid soap break down the protective, waxy outer coatings of soft-bodied pests, like aphids, spider mites, and whiteflies, causing them to dehydrate rapidly without leaving toxic residues on your food. To make a perfectly safe and highly effective insecticidal spray, you simply need to mix 1 tablespoon of liquid dish soap into 1 gallon of clean, lukewarm water, shaking the mixture gently until it is fully integrated. If you are managing a small backyard garden or a few balcony containers, you can pour this mixture into a standard hand pump spray bottle and thoroughly coat the tops and bottoms of the infested leaves until they are glistening. For our medium-scale farmers, who need to cover a much larger territory, this exact ratio translates perfectly into a larger backpack sprayer, allowing you to walk the rows efficiently while treating affected crops uniformly. It is absolutely vital that you apply this remedy either in the late afternoon or early evening when the harsh sun has gone down, as spraying during the heat of the day can cause the wet leaves to scorch, and you should repeat the treatment every 4 to 5 days until the pest population completely vanishes. As we move from pest control back to nourishment, there is another common household item that completely transforms plant health, and it is something most people only think to use when they are baking a loaf of bread or cleaning a stained countertop. Ordinary baking soda, which you can find sitting quietly in your kitchen baking aisle or pantry, is an incredibly powerful, natural antifungal agent that changes the pH balance on the surface of plant leaves, making it impossible for destructive fungal spores to take hold and multiply. This simple white powder is your absolute best defense against powdery mildew, that frustrating white dust that often coats your beautiful zucchini, cucumber, and pumpkin leaves when the weather gets humid. To prepare this protective shield, dissolve 1 tablespoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of your liquid dish soap into 1 gallon of water, stirring gently until the powder completely disappears and the liquid looks clear. Home gardeners can use a small misting bottle to lightly spray this solution over the foliage of susceptible plants as a preventive measure before the damp humidity sets in. Farmers can scale this up by multiplying the recipe for their large tractor-drawn or mechanical spray rigs, ensuring entire fields of squash or melons are protected before a heavy summer rain. For the best possible results, spray your plants early in the morning on a dry day, allowing the solution to dry completely into a protective barrier, and apply it once every 2 weeks during damp, humid seasons to keep your crops beautifully clean and fungus-free. Now, let us talk about a remedy that sounds a bit unusual at first, but it is one of the absolute greatest secrets of seasoned agriculturalists, and it uses a staple item from your medicine cabinet. Plain, unflavored Epsom salt, which is nothing more than pure magnesium sulfate, is widely available at your local pharmacy or grocery store, and it does absolute wonders for the vibrant green coloration and sweetness of your harvest. Magnesium is the central atom in the chlorophyll molecule, which means it is directly responsible for how efficiently your plants can absorb sunlight and turn it into food, while sulfur helps them develop strong roots and robust flavors. To create a fast-acting liquid fertilizer that your plants can absorb instantly through their leaves. Dissolve 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt into 1 gallon of water, stirring it for just a minute until the crystals completely vanish. Home gardeners can use a simple watering can to pour this mineral-rich liquid directly over the foliage and around the base of peppers, tomatoes, and potted citrus trees until the earth is thoroughly soaked. Small-scale farmers can distribute this through their existing drip irrigation systems or large field sprayers, delivering a sweeping dose of essential minerals across acres of crops simultaneously. The perfect time to apply this magnesium boost is right when your plants start to show their very first blossoms, and you can repeat the application once a month to ensure your harvest is remarkably sweet, abundant, and vibrant. Most people throw away their wood ash from the fireplace or outdoor fire pit without realizing what it can do, treating it like messy debris when it is actually a powerhouse of potassium and calcium. If you burn clean, untreated wood in your home stove, fire pit, or wood-burning oven, you are sitting on a premium soil conditioner that can instantly neutralize overly acidic ground and provide the essential nutrients needed for robust root development and disease resistance. The basic science here is that wood ash is highly alkaline, containing high levels of carbonate which raises soil pH while delivering a massive dose of potassium, the exact nutrient responsible for helping plants regulate water uptake and build thick, sturdy stems. To use this effectively, you do not need any complex preparation steps at all. Simply collect the completely cooled, gray ash from your stove and pass it through a fine mesh colander or sieve to remove any large, unburnt chunks of charcoal. Home gardeners can lightly scatter a thin, dust-like layer of this refined ash over their kitchen beds or mix a couple of spoonfuls into the soil of potassium-loving plants like potatoes, carrots, and berry bushes. Farmers can load this natural soil amendment into a lime spreader, distributing it evenly across large fields where the soil pH has dropped too low over years of heavy cultivation. Because wood ash is so incredibly potent, you should only apply it once a year, preferably in the late autumn or early winter when the ground is resting, allowing the winter rains to gently wash the minerals deep into the sleeping earth. But what if your main struggle isn't soil nutrition or fungus, but rather those stubborn, crawling insects like slugs, snails, and cutworms that chew through your tender young seedlings overnight? The ultimate answer is sitting right in your kitchen pantry inside a box of ordinary cornmeal, a cheap and completely non-toxic household staple that you can buy at any local grocery store. The fascinating logic behind cornmeal is twofold. It contains a natural compound that acts as a mild pre-emergent weed suppressor. But more importantly, slugs and certain destructive caterpillars absolutely love the taste of it, yet their digestive systems cannot break it down, causing them to fill up and naturally perish without the use of dangerous baits. To put this clever remedy to work, you simply take a few cups of raw, dry cornmeal straight from the box with no mixing or water required whatsoever. Home gardeners can create small, protective circles of cornmeal directly on the soil surface around the stems of vulnerable young lettuce plants and marigolds, or place a few tablespoons inside a small glass jar laid on its side to keep it dry from the morning dew. Farmers can walk their planting lines and distribute small, strategic piles of cornmeal along the perimeters of their crop rows where slugs are known to migrate from the damp grass. You want to put this out in the late evening, right before the nocturnal pests emerge to feed, and you should replenish the supply every few days or immediately after a heavy rainfall, as the cornmeal needs to be dry and appetizing to do its job effectively. There is another incredible item that you probably use to flavor your dinner every single night, but it also doubles as one of the most powerful, broad-spectrum natural antibiotics and repellents in the entire plant kingdom. Fresh garlic cloves, which are a permanent fixture in every single kitchen and pantry around the world, contain a potent sulfur compound called allicin, which gives garlic its sharp aroma and acts as a massive deterrent to invasive insects, fungi, and even small garden rodents. To harness this intense natural defense, finely crush or blend 2 whole heads of peeled garlic cloves and steep them in 1 quart of boiling water for a full 24 hours. allowing the medicinal compounds to bleed completely into the liquid. After the steeping period is over, strain the fragrant liquid through a piece of cheesecloth to remove the pulp, and then mix this concentrated garlic juice with 1 gallon of water and a single teaspoon of liquid dish soap to help it stick to the plants. Home gardeners can spray this aromatic mixture directly onto the leaves of roses, cabbages, and fruit bushes to keep aphids and caterpillars at bay, while small farmers can apply it using large-scale spraying equipment to protect entire rows of leafy greens from pest pressure. This pungent spray should be applied during the calm, cool hours of the early morning, so it can dry effectively, and it works best when used once every week during peak pest season, or immediately after it rains to maintain an unbroken wall of natural protection. Our journey through the household pantry brings us to a final, incredibly sweet remedy that sounds almost too simple to be true, yet it is backed by profound biological science. Ordinary unsulfured blackstrap molasses, which you can find in the baking section of your local supermarket or health food store, is a thick, dark syrup that acts as an absolute superfood for the invisible, hard-working microbial life living deep within your soil. The natural sugars, iron, carbon, and trace minerals packed into molasses provide an immediate high-energy food source for beneficial soil bacteria and mycorrhizal fungi, which in turn break down organic matter and make locked-up nutrients easily absorbable for your plant's root systems. To prepare this sweet soil elixir, simply dissolve 2 tablespoons of blackstrap molasses into 1 gallon of warm water, stirring it thoroughly until the thick syrup is completely dissolved and the water turns a rich amber-brown color. Home gardeners can pour this nourishing mixture straight from a watering can onto the root zones of their flowering perennials, heavy-fruiting vegetables, and fruit trees, watching the plants respond with a sudden burst of health. For our small to medium-scale farmers, adding molasses to your large fertigation tanks or liquid manure mixes creates a massive biological explosion in the soil, dramatically improving root architecture and crop resilience across acres of farmland. Apply this biological booster once a month during the active growing season, ideally during a late afternoon watering so the microbes can feast and multiply through the cool, damp night, transforming your soil into a living, breathing ecosystem. Using these simple, everyday remedies reminds us that nature has already provided everything we truly need to grow healthy, abundant food and beautiful flowers right within our own homes. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and if you found real value in these neighborly tips, please consider subscribing to the channel as a wonderful way to support our ongoing mission of sustainable, chemical-free growing. Don't forget to share your city, village, or country in the comments below if you haven't already. Because whether you are tending a few beautiful pots on a high-rise apartment balcony or managing a vast green farming field in the countryside, this channel is your home, and we are all growing together as one incredible global family. Keep a close eye out for our very next video, because I am going to reveal a shocking household liquid that can root any plant cutting in just a matter of days, and you definitely won't want to miss it. Until next time, find joy in the smell of the damp earth, take care of your plants, and happy gardening.